the ground saying this is where each sign should go, and they did an absolutely perfect job. So kudos to them. Great job. I want to thank the Barkhamsted Historical Society. Paul has been great, Lynn has been great, and everybody has been enormously supportive of all the work that I've done up here, and I thank them. I also want to thank, when you see the signs are absolutely beautiful. We previewed the signs with some people. Every one of them looks at the illustrations drawn on the sign, and they say, oh, that's so cool. The person responsible for that is this person right here. That's Jen Davis. I don't want to say too much, but when you see those, they absolutely will inspire you to think about what this place looked like 200 years ago. They're brilliantly done, and I appreciate that very, very much. I also want to thank field school students of mine over many years who have worked on this site, who have excavated the site, have worked in the lab, worked looking at the documents. And I've got, raise your hand if you're one of my students who dug at this site, which is we have a bunch of them. Now, here's the deal. Imagine how dedicated they are. College students up this early on a Saturday. Right? Okay. So without their research, without their work, none of this would have been possible. Also, I want to thank a number of people. I want to start with William Wallace Lee, who wrote the sesquicentennial history address for Barkhamsted. It was in 1879. Held that story of the lighthouse, wrote it down using primary documents. He's responsible for passing down the story of the lighthouse. Doug Roberts, where's Doug? Mr. Roberts right there he has been incredibly generous with his vast storehouse of knowledge about Barkhamsted, about this site, and it's like the cliche, Doug has forgotten more about the history of Barkhamsted than I'm ever going to know. And I think Doug also deserves a round of applause. As Connie has pointed out, his family, despite what the sign says, donated the land to People's State Forest for the state forest. I also want to thank Lewis Mills. Lewis Mills, who was a local school superintendent and a historian, who wrote the 150-page long book, The Legend of Barkhamsted Lighthouse. Okay, when I first saw it, I was frightened. I was frightened because it's a 150-page long poem. Not a big fan of poetry. But when I read that story and realized what an important, significant place this was, I was blown away. And I knew, this was in the mid-1980s, I said, I have to come back here. What you're